So, have you ever found yourself copying and pasting the same block of Terraform code over and over again? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, you know there has to be a better way. And that better way is called a module. In the next few minutes, we're going to totally demystify them and show you how this one simple idea can completely change the way you work.
You know, the source material for this really nails it with this quote. This is simpler than it sounds. And that's exactly where we need to start. Let's just get rid of the idea that modules are some complex, advanced, wizard-level feature. They're not. They're just a super practical tool that you can and should start using today.
I mean, come on, you know this pain, right? You get your server configuration absolutely perfect for your dev environment. Awesome. But then you need another one for staging. So what do? You copy it, you paste it, and then you have to hunt through and find all the little variables to change. And then you do it all over again for production. This copy-paste trap is exactly what Terraform modules are designed to break. Okay, so let's get right to it. Why should you even bother with a module? What's the core problem that they're actually solving? Let's break down the why. As your infrastructure starts to grow, these little repeated patterns just pop up everywhere, don't they? It's the same web server setup in dev, staging, and prod, the same network rules for different projects. And this isn't just tedious, it's actually risky. Every single time you copy that code, you're also copying any potential for error, and you're creating a maintenance nightmare for your future self. Okay, now this slide really tells the whole story, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that messy, repetitive state that probably looks a little too familiar. If you need to change the server size, you've got to find and edit it in 3 different files, just hoping you don't miss one. But look at the right. With a module, you have one single source of truth. You change the module in one place, and that update applies everywhere, instantly. It's the difference between being a code janitor and a code architect. All right, so we've nailed down the why. Now let's talk about the what. Let's pop the hood and take a look inside a module to see the basic structure that makes it all tick. At its heart, a module is just a self-contained package of your Terraform code. In this recipe analogy, it's perfect. Think about it. You don't write out the instructions for how to bake a cake from scratch every single time you want one. No way! You follow a proven recipe, and you just customize the ingredients, maybe the type of frosting or how many layers. Well, a module is your reusable recipe for a piece of infrastructure. And just like any good recipe, a module really has 3 main parts. First, you have your input variables. These are your ingredients, right? The things you can change each time, like the server size or the region. Then you have the resources. These are the cooking steps, the actual Terraform code that's going to build your stuff. And finally, you have outputs. This is your finished dish, all that valuable information, like a server's IP address that you'll need to use somewhere else. And this right here is maybe the most important thing to get. A module isn't some new, complex feature with a steep learning curve. It's just the same Terraform code you already know how to write, but it's organized into a neat, reusable package. That's it. There's no magic here. Just really smart organization. Okay, we know the why and the what. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's see how you actually call a module and put it to work inside your own code. So, calling a module really just comes down to these 3 things. First, you've got the source. This just tells Terraform, hey, the code for this module lives over here, usually in a local folder. Simple. Second, you provide the inputs, which is where you pass in all those specific values for the variables. And third, you can access the outputs to use the results from your module in other places, like grabbing a database address to give to your web server. Before we finish up, let's talk about how to get started without getting totally overwhelmed. You know, like with any powerful tool, it's best to start simple. So here are a couple of smart boundaries to set for yourself when you're just starting out. 2 super simple rules to get you started on the right foot. First, keep your modules small. Seriously, don't try to build your entire cloud setup in one giant module. Make a module just for a web server, then another one for a database. This keeps them easy to understand, easy to reuse, and way easier to debug. Second rule, don't nest modules too deeply. Now, calling a module from inside another module is a thing, and it can be powerful, but it can also get confusing really fast. When you're starting, just stick to a flat structure where your main configuration calls all your modules directly. So, let's end this right back where we began, with this core idea. If you remember one thing from all this, Make it this. A module is just your existing Terraform code made reusable. It isn't some new, scary concept. It's the key to making your infrastructure cleaner, way more manageable, and honestly, a lot more powerful. Now, go find that repetitive chunk of code in your project and turn it into your very first elegant module. You've got this.